As you all know, I've covered the Angry Birds franchise on my channel many times, mainly due to the state the franchise is in now, with its future being quite uncertain and pretty much having a split fanbase as of now. With Rovio not listening to fans who want them to bring back the old games and just deciding to focus on their newer experimental games and TV shows focused on a much younger audience, whilst pretty much ignoring their older base, which I discussed in my Future of Angry Birds video. But as Rovio recently stopped development on their new RPG game, Angry Birds Legends, which is pretty much another version of Rovio's Chronicle of Legends, an identical game aside from not having the Angry Birds characters, he convinced me to really think about what Rovio could do to satisfy all fans in the franchise, no matter if new or old. One thing though which I really didn't talk about too much in my previous Future of Angry Birds video was what Rovio could do to put the franchise back on track and help it regain the popularity it once had back in its peak, aka 2012. And from the title of this video, you could pretty much see what I'm going to be discussing. But before you comment about what a terrible opinion I have, there's multiple things Rovio could do to get this to work, and not just release a sequel to a past game. In fact, I don't think Rovio really should be packaging this as an Angry Birds Trilogy 2, and not just release on consoles, which I'll explain later in the video. But before this video begins, if you enjoy the content I make sure to subscribe and enable notifications, as YouTube for some reason has been automatically unsubscribing people from certain channels and not notifying you about new uploads for whatever reason. So make sure to subscribe to prevent that from affecting you and clicking the little bell icon. It's free and you can always unsubscribe if you wish. Anyway, with all that out of the way, this is why Angry Birds Trilogy 2 needs to happen. So for those of you who don't know what Angry Birds Trilogy is, it was a collection featuring HD console ports of the original 3 Angry Birds games, Angry Birds Classic, Seasons, and Angry Birds Rio. It released back during the franchise's peak in 2012, developed by Rovio alongside Activision for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii, Wii U, PlayStation Vita, and Nintendo 3DS. In fact, I bought a copy of the game back when it came out, which I actually still have, but unfortunately, it doesn't work anymore due to a classic case of scratched disc. Either way, Angry Birds Trilogy got a lot of things right, as it showed that Slingshot Angry Birds games could indeed work on consoles, even with the 360's stupid Kinect. Well, kinda. Even though it does have some minor issues for most people, it's a great game and I'm sure it introduced some of you to the Angry Birds games. Most of you though are probably wondering, MRG, why does Rovio need to make another Angry Birds Trilogy? It's unlikely that Rovio will partner with Activision again. Well, I don't think Rovio should make a true sequel to this game, but take inspiration from it. You see, Angry Birds Trilogy showed that a collection of Angry Birds games could work, and if games like the Andrew Stickmin Collection, Halo Master Chief Collection, and Super Mario 3D All-Stars all working and being successful, maybe it could work for Angry Birds. Now it's extremely unlikely from what we've seen that the old Angry Birds games will come back in any sort of form, but if Rovio released a collection of Angry Birds games like that on mobile, PC, Nintendo Switch, and possibly for other consoles being called Angry Birds Slingshot Collection or something like that, featuring full HD remasters of Angry Birds Classic, Seasons, Space, Go, Epic, and Bad Piggies, with more titles being added in future updates. Although, some titles will be difficult to include due to licensing issues, for example Rio in both Star Wars games. Rovio have even ended support for those titles probably due to, well, that reason, and a lack of downloads, so they are very unlikely to come back in the future, unless Rovio negotiates a new deal with their owners, although I don't really think it's worth it as those games probably won't do well in today's market. Here's some concept art for this proposed collection. Of course, the power-ups in all those games will have to be altered to be more common in each game or just removed entirely. Knowing Rovio though, they'd probably keep them the same way as they are on the original versions. But one major problem with an Angry Birds collection like this is what the price should be and what Rovio could do for a mobile version. If this collection were to release on consoles, I definitely think it should be priced between £12 to £15 or $20. And it would be cool if it was included in the Xbox Game Pass if possible. But a mobile collection would bring quite a few problems, and because Angry Birds originally released on mobile, it makes sense for a mobile version of this possible collection to be released. Paid mobile games these days are not really seen anymore, as developers now go for the freemium system, as well as Rovio, which as most of you know, is where mobile game developers make their games free, with ads and microtransactions included to make money. Like we've seen in the past, if Rovio were to release his collection on mobile, they'd have to make it free for mobile, and would most certainly have ads, and maybe even make you pay to unlock certain games, also having power-ups as an optional paid extra, like in the original titles. Now, if Rovio were to release a collection like this on mobile, I think it would have a lot of issues, as Rovio have to make money from it somehow, and having it being paid for wouldn't bring in as many downloads as if it was free. I think for mobile, they should split up and release each remastered game on mobile for free, quite similar to the original versions, allowing Rovio to make money from it and being easy for us to download. But then again, this would work by having the option to buy the microtransactions or very minimum microtransactions console version, similar to the original Angry Birds Trilogy, featuring Classic, Seasons, Epic, Ghost, Space and Bad Piggies, as well as being able to download the games in their separate remastered releases on mobile, with unfortunately ads and microtransactions, like they once were. But then again, if Rovio were to release these remastered games from this possible collection on mobile, possibly £1 each, but either way, it would be cool to see these classic games return in whatever way, whether that be a collection on console or separate mobile releases. Maybe Rovio could just remaster the games and release them separately on console and mobile, similar to what's happened with the recent console releases of Five Nights at Freddy's. And if Rovio decides to release a collection for console and standalone games on mobile, or just a collection for both, I think Rovio releasing a remaster collection like Trilogy or standalone remasters with classic games would be incredibly cool to see, and would help bring the franchise back to its peak once again, as well as satisfying both sides of the franchise from my perspective, which is why I think an Angry Birds collection or separate remasters of the original titles that I mentioned previously would be a good idea. But the sad unfortunate truth is that Rovio will probably never bring back the old games, like I said in my previous videos on the subject, and just what Rovio's current vision is. As well, Rovio is a company that just wants to focus on newer titles, but from a game studio perspective, I don't blame them as well. You can't really keep focusing on the same titles for years without updating them massively. Games like Minecraft and Garry's Mod are exceptions, but then again they've been updated as well, and you have massive mods and servers to play on with them. Among Us as well also receives new maps and updates every so often. It's now even been a year since the games were removed, but this of course doesn't stop us from wondering what the future could have in store for this franchise, no matter bad or good. The only problem I have with this is that Rovio needs to address this situation more in my opinion, responding to fans' questions and give us more clarity on what's going on and what's in store for the future, as I think that could provide us a lot more information on the situation and help give fans a better perspective to what's going on, even though Rovio has released a statement to why they were removed. Some of the marketing Rovio has done with the franchise recently in my opinion isn't really the best, but then again, it's what mobile games are these days, and Rovio are just following the trends. But as many others have said, Rovio just aren't listening to fans saying bring back 2012, they even blocked some people a few times. But then again, some of it was kind of spammy, while some of it was professionally worded and formed, which I don't get as well. This just shows that something like this happening is extremely unlikely, but it can't stop us from thinking about what we could see in the future, like I've talked about previously in this video. Anyway, that's all I have to say regarding this. Feel free to leave a comment on your thoughts on this situation, and whether you think Rovio should do something like this, or if they should just release a collection for console, PC and mobile, release separate remasters for all platforms, or just release a collection on console and PC, then release separate remasters on mobile, so I'd certainly be interested in hearing your opinions. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Sharing the video online on places like Twitter and Reddit helps massively too. Don't forget to check out my Twitter and Instagram, as well as my Discord server too. Links to all are in the description. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.